Okay, hi, this is Linda Borden, President of the Easton Library Trustees. Today is August 17th, 2020. We are having a trustee meeting by remote, which is allowed by the New York State Governor's issue of an executive order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, which is in effect through September 4th at this point. At this point, I'm going to call the meeting to order, and I'm going to ask for a roll call since we don't have minutes being taken. I want to make sure who's present. So if you're present, please let me know. Mary Jane Connor.
Present.
Peter Reed.
Present.
John O'Brien. He reported to me that he would be unable to attend due to work. Patricia McPhee.
Present.
Aaron Gabriel.
Present.
Chelsea Henderson.
Present.
And Director Jennifer DiCarlo.
Present.
Is there anybody else attending the meeting? So we will dispense with the minutes of the last meeting as none are taken due to the video is on our website. So if anybody wants to see our last minutes, they are on the website in the form of a video. We'll start with the treasurer's report that everybody has received a copy of. And I'd like to ask Peter if there's anything in particular he would like to draw our attention to.
Not really. I'm just, we need to probably put a budget together. So that is something we need to do. Look forward to trying to put together, have it available probably within a month. I believe Town of Easton wants our budget in by the middle of September.
Okay,
so maybe
and
Jennifer can work with me and help put this together because she's the
Okay.
one who spends the money. I just pay the bills.
Okay.
all right, so Jennifer and Peter will work on presenting a budget to us, and then we will approve that at another meeting. In the meantime, does anybody have any questions about the treasurer's report that you received via email? I'm not hearing any questions, so can I have a motion? Please tell me your name as you're making the motion to accept this treasurer's report.
This is Aaron. I make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
That was Aaron making a motion to accept the treasurer's report. May I have a second?
Patricia can second.
Patricia's making a second to accept the treasurer's report. Everyone in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, we will accept the treasurer's report from Peter as presented via email to us. Our next topic of discussion is the plan of service for the next 5 years. This plan of service was written by a committee. About more than 2 years of work went into this. Jennifer and I have been working on it during this COVID time, mainly by phone since we couldn't get together. You all did receive a copy of it. And I wonder if there's any questions, changes, discussion about the plan of service.
It looked good to me. I think you guys did a good job. I have no problems with it.
Thank you.
This is Aaron. I was going to say the same. I read through it and it looked pretty good.
Thank you.
Very, very thorough. That's Patricia,
Thank you.
I thought.
Well, we tried hard to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you guys put a lot of work into that by the looks of it, so good job.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. Yeah, it did take a lot of work. We tried to reflect upon what the patrons and the citizens of Easton said they wanted to see in the community. We believe we've really touched on all of the points that they found important, and we're looking forward to working on this over the next 5 years. So if there's no corrections or changes wanted, can I have a motion from somebody to adopt the plan of service?
This is Peter, and
Mary
I
Jane.
recommended, yeah, I say we accept it as presented.
I heard a motion from Peter, and was that a second from Mary Jane?
Yes.
And a second from Mary Jane to accept the plan of service as presented. All in favor? I'm going to call a roll on this one, please. Mary Jane?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes,
Patricia?
pass, go for it.
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Chelsea?
Yes.
And Linda, yes. So we have accepted the plan of service, and that will be in effect for the next 5 years. I'm really happy we've gotten that accepted, and that will put us in good standing with New York State when we do our annual report this year. So that'll be great. I have no further official business. Does anybody else have any other official business that we need to conduct at this meeting?
No.
This is
No.
Aaron. I just asked Jennifer if she needs anything there at the library, anything we can do outside or inside.
Oh, yes, as a matter of fact. How does anybody feel about weeding?
Actually, I like weeding.
We are in really great need of weeding. There are, it's looking pretty bushy at the library. We have somebody mowing, thank goodness, but there are a lot of weeds taking over. And I know Maggie Brandt, she weeded in the spring, but she hasn't been back. And, you know, I don't know who contacted her before. So, but that's one thing. But other than that, I think everything's under control. Thank you.
I'll come up and do a little weeding this week.
That would be wonderful. I'd appreciate that.
Thank you, Aaron.
Problem I've got, I don't mind helping, but I don't know what the weeds are. I have trouble figuring out what's a weed and what isn't a weed. So I usually let them grow and, you know, see if they get a flower on them and say, okay, wasn't a weed. That's not what you're looking for, though.
No, no. You got to know
All
what's a weed.
So thank you, Aaron. The other thing I want to just bring up quickly, although we don't need to take any action on it right now, is to let you all know that we need to make a document for an emergency plan. Jennifer, you want to just speak a little bit briefly about the emergency plan, when it's due and why, and we are going to need somebody to help write that. We're going to need a committee.
We are going to need a committee. I have been putting off really researching it because it's not a huge undertaking like the plan of service. I don't think it's like a 2-year thing because we only have less than 6 months to do it. So we have to get it finished by December 31st of this year, because if we don't, we will be in non-compliance with New York State. In order for our library to, I believe, stay, you know, relevant, we have certain policies that we are required by New York State to have, and one of them is the emergency policy. I forget what the exact name of it is. There's a specific name for it, and it is a policy of what happens if there's a disaster that happens to our library. Say there's a flood or a fire. What do we do? So that's next. So I am taking a little vacation the week after next, and I'll be back in September. And then I'm gonna hit the road running and hopefully start that. So who would like to sign up for the committee? Linda's running the other direction.
So for those of you who aren't familiar with it, I've read a few of them, and the ones I've read are detailed. They tell if there was a disaster, who would you be calling? So if there was a flood, who would be the first person to call? Say there was a flood or a fire, where would you be moving the books to? Do you have an agreement with the town hall or the fire department or the church? What steps do you take? Who does the moving? And I haven't researched it more than that, but I know that is the type of thing that we need to be working on. And I'm sure there's many, many templates and suggestions for anybody who, would want to work on that project, things to look up. So when Jennifer's done with her vacation, Jennifer, you can send out an email and hope somebody will make a committee.
Okay.
Maybe you'll have more info.
Okay. Yes, I will. And I think Sarah Dallas sent me a template for it. I just have to look for it. Hopefully I didn't delete it, but I'm sure she would send me another one if I've misplaced it. I think her template was probably the best. So, but we also, sometimes when we look at policies, sometimes they're huge libraries, and our library is a small library. So, it's sometimes apples and oranges we're looking at. So we have to do something that's going to fit our needs. So.
Correct. So if there's no other business, I'll entertain a motion to close the meeting.
I make a motion, we close the meeting, Peter.
Seconded?
I'll second it, Patricia.
Thank you. So we will be adjourning this meeting right now. And Chelsea, you can turn off the video. Thank you so much, everyone.